Thank you, Rob. This is Bo Freeman with Cooperative Extension here in North Carolina, in Person County. Glad that you could be with me today and hope it didn't get washed away. That's where I'm going to start thinking and talking about this morning. As we talk about with the Extension Service, we talk about emergency preparedness. What are you going to do in an emergency? What's going to happen to you? How can you prevent those things from occurring? You have to pre-think, pre-thought. And once again, here in North Carolina, we have lots of opportunities with hurricanes blowing through, tornadoes, thunderstorms, floods. We have lots of opportunities. So you probably got a disaster kit sitting there behind something in the closet or in a good safe place. Well, now's a great time to pull it out and start looking through it and see what's old, what's new, what doesn't work anymore. And it's simple. You just sort of check through. Person County Emergency Management has a really good list of stuff. And once again, it's a website you can go to. And like I said, it's pretty simple to go in and look. And they've got lots of stuff that you can see if I get it up right. But it's a website that Person County government here in North Carolina, and you go to a disaster supply kit, and they got it broken down into different things. And once again, if you don't have internet, give us a call. We'll make you a copy and send it. And our phone number is 336-599-1195. We'll send you information if you need it. But there's disaster kits for livestock, for pets, for food preparedness, flood preparedness, business plans, family plans, kits, and even wireless electronic devices. And this one's sort of new to several of us in that we haven't had to think about battery backups or how do we recharge our phone if the electricity is out for more than 10 hours, 20 hours? Do we go and start the car and charge it that way? Well, what happens if you don't have enough gas in the car? Those are the things that, you need to check on, as well as when you start going through there, you may want to think about buying those extended little batteries for your phone and charging them up and checking to see if they're charged. Also check the expiration date on everything in your kit, whether it be batteries, food items, and even water. Yes, water can go stale. And that one being said, yeah, it wouldn't hurt for you to replenish water. And according to the Person County's government, you need to have about a gallon of water per day per person. So you happen to be the neighborhood come together with kids. Oh no, it's no longer just your family unit. It's everybody that will be in your household. And as I recall with the ice storm, there were lots of places that nobody got in and out for 2, 3 days. So be prepared. They didn't have electricity. Be prepared. Once again, summer storms are a little bit different than winter storms. You may want to have some extra water. You may want to have what they call potable water and then dark water, or at least access to it. This may be where you fill up the tub before the night before the storm. These things can be used from everything from washing dishes to flushing commodes. So be prepared. That's the key motto there. Make sure that your foodstuffs are still in date. And kind of need to make sure you got a few good snacks in there too, not just the nutritious ones, and not just dried ones. And remember, if you have dried ones, that's going to make you want to drink more water. So look at what you got and how you think you can eat it and how you can divide the meals up and who's going to be there. And think about some high energy, some canned drinks, some staples. Once again, salt and pepper's pretty good there when you can't cook on the stove, and it sort of livens up some of the processes. You also need to think about, do I have enough soap? Can I get my soap? Can I rinse? It's those type of things. Make sure you've got sunscreen. You're like going, Bo, you're talking about a summer storm. Well, if you're out of electricity for a couple of days and you're going to be out there trying to take and just say tree fell, you're going to be out there with a chainsaw trying to cut it up, and you need to make sure you got some sunscreen. For those kids that are not going to be doing a lot of anything but playing, you may want to make sure you've got the sunscreen out there. Also, make sure you've got tucked away in there that Advil or ibuprofen or whatever, aspirin and non-aspirin type of relief, so that you can do that. A helpful hint is that, if I don't have electricity and I don't have water, would it be better for me to have paper plates, plastic utensils that I could just chunk when I'm done? So this may be an opportunity to rethink some of what you got and have a little extra on hand. Like I say, set it aside, because if you use it and don't have it, it's not going to do you any good. I also think about the same type thing with things that are in the bathroom. Do you need water to utilize? And I keep going back to this water. If you got shelter and you got water, those are the key issues. We can live without food for a little while, but those first two, we want to make sure that you've got. And the shelter component is huge. And if the structure that you quote unquote call home or business is unsafe, get out of it. But once again, you need to talk to the emergency management folks to find out how to make those determinations. Also, make sure that you've got enough clothes, hats, gloves, whatever you may need. You know more about that than I do. Make sure you know where the rain jacket is. And because it may be your winter jacket, you may have already tucked it away. Make sure you've got some of those components out there. Also, if you've got young ones, make sure you got enough formula and diapers and water and powdered milk and any type of medicine. And for us, we've been living in the COVID time where we were prepared for a 2-week cycle if we got COVID and we needed to be at home isolated or quarantined. We probably need to make sure that we've still got those medicines sitting on the sideline that you may take every day. And you're like, oh, I can go refill them tomorrow, da da da. Well, at least have a week's worth of storage, if not a little more. That way you've got can help out. And let's get real, electricity's out, water's out, you may get a little bored because your battery life is not going to supply that phone too long. So make sure you want to have some books and some games or something like that to play with folks so that you can take the time and make you actually enjoy the time. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to be that way, but there may be an opportunity. But I will go on and reiterate on as far as the wireless devices, you probably want to make sure you can be still connected, because people are going to be worried about and you need to be able to talk with them and let them know the status that you are, whether you need help or whether you don't. It's one of those that you want to try to keep them involved. And while we're talking about that, family status, remember to update your wills, waterproof containers for all your important goods, maybe even a firebox for your important stuff, or take them out and put them into a bank lockbox somewhere that can be safe, that is going to withstand the elements. Because a lot of people want to think, oh, I've just got it in my plastic box, and you've got a will there. Not quite good. And for those who have businesses, let me tell you a little horror story we had one time at a 4-H camp that I was associated with. We had one of these nice preparedness notebooks, protocols to do, and it was wonderful. We had looked at every scenario possible. Well, it was in the office that was next to the kitchen that the propane tank sprung a leak, and we had to evacuate the camp. But we couldn't go back because of the propane, but we also had the book that we had no access to. So have your preparedness notes with you wherever you go, or at least have a secondary set off site. So in case there is an emergency and can't come in or out, you still have those records and protocols set aside so that you know what's going on, especially in your businesses. In a business, let's get real, you probably got it in one office, and that's the only place you've got it. Take a set home. Let your manager have a set. Put it online. Google has lots of space. I'm not promoting Google by any long stretch, but there's other opportunities out there for us to store some of this information, not just in one location. So be thinking about those things that I've talked about, and hopefully you won't have to ever use them. But just in case, have them sitting around or in a place you remember where you put it, so that you can get it in a hurry. Because let's get real, when we are stressed, traditionally we don't think as well, and if we have it all laid out, it will make life a lot easier. So hope everything's okay in your household and we're doing fine. And just remember that we're all in this together. And the Cooperative Extension has what they call Eden, and it's a website. If you want to go there, they have all sorts of stuff. It's a national website, and it's real good. Or the Person County website under Emergency Management, and they have all the different kits listed that you can pull down and have. So this has been Bo Freeman with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension here in Person County. And we're going to let our sponsors take a little bit of time to tell you what they've got going on, and we'll be right back here in a little while. Thank you.
Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers is located 613 Lewis Street in Oxford. Open for business weekdays 8 to 5, Saturdays 9 till 1. Call 1-800-221-9267 or 919-693-4626. Al, Hillary, and Will, there to serve you with all of your golf car needs. They have Club Car, Easy Go, and Yamaha units. If you're wanting a gasoline or an electric golf car, they have them at Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers. Trojan batteries, parts, and repair service. Thinking about a new grill? Check out the Wilmington Grills at Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers. Speaking of trailers, they have utility, dump, enclosed, stock, and equipment trailers. That's Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers in Oxford, 919-693-4626, toll free 1-800-221-9267. Sandling Golf Cars and Trailers.
Well, I'm glad we could make it back. This is Bo Freeman with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service here in Person County. Once again, I want to thank the radio for helping us out, getting the word out to y'all about the many things that are going on in Extension, as well as in the gardening corner. So let's talk a little bit about the gardening corner, excuse me. When we step back and look at our garden today, we've got lots of people that start bringing in lots of different plants. And some are real good looking and some aren't. In fact, somebody brought me in some squash the other day, and I was in another meeting and had my door open and they left it. I'm like going, was this for examination or was this for a friendly neighbor? It happened to be a friendly neighbor, but I wasn't sure. So it would look pretty good though. But no, when you come in with some of your stuff, just don't drop it off. Let us know who you are, what you're looking at. And sometimes we need to call you and ask you a couple of more questions. However, there's a couple of them out there as I was talking to my neighbor who gave me some squash just the other day. She's having lots of blossom end rot in her squash. And this is one of those that it's stress related. They didn't irrigate their garden yet or as much as they possibly should have. And blossom end rot is a calcium deficiency. However, you can have as much calcium as you want to in the soil, but if the plant can't uptake it, then there's a problem. And why won't it uptake? Well, once again, drought, which hopefully after yesterday, this is pre-recorded, so I'm hoping we got a little bit of rain yesterday. That's one of those components that we always need. Now, there may be some tomatoes that crack open on you because they just got a lot of good water and they're growing too fast. So that may be one, good and bad about having some water out there. However, back to the squash. If you've got some of those that have rotted from the end back, no matter what you're looking at, remove them because they will be a source of infection for your other plants or other fruits. So, or vegetables, remove them from your garden and plop them in. Some people want to put them in a compost pit as long as it takes a long time and you try to put in the not correct stuff in your compost pit. In other words, your greens and this type of thing to put the blend together so that you run the fermentation. That's your key component with a good compost. It's getting it where it's got water, it's a mixture, it's a good recipe. And once again, that's another discussion on its own. But back to the squash and the rotten, get it out. Also, you may want to look at soil test. You've never heard Extension talk about soil test. Right now they're free, and now would be a good time to get it. Hence that you could have how much lime you need to put down if you need to put down any right now, so you could go on and put it out, and it could help you with your fall garden or help you with next year's crop. So because lime is very slow acting, and even your faster formulations, they may help you out a little bit in the fall, but they peter out a little quicker too. So you got to remember that one. When we look at our soil test, plop it in and make sure your pH is right. Because if your pH is alkaline down below 5.5, your calcium's not going to be absorbed because it's bound by the hydrogen atoms. We're not going to get in chemistry, so don't worry. But it's one of those you need to keep the balance. And while we're talking about balance, you may also want to start thinking about planting your fall garden. I didn't say planting. No, 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 no. We're still a little out there. But start planning of where you're going to put what, how, when, what are you going to put away and dig up or move so that you've got room for your fall garden. But now is a good time to start thinking about those things. And if you really want to dream dreams, we've got some books here at the office that can tell you a little bit about what kinds of varieties you want to do, where you want to go, and you really need to see Johnny Coley about all this stuff because he's really good at this. Also, when we start looking at our gardens, uh, once again, it never hurts to make sure that, our bugs and this type thing. But remember, if we spray pesticides of any kind, let's not forget our bees. Bees are our biggest buddy, and we want to make sure to save the bees because they got a lot of pressure from other sides of the fence. So be careful with what you do when you start spraying. And while we're talking about spraying, you may have these wonderful insects that are in your trees. There's about 3 different ones that are out or will be out soon. And just to give you a little bit of difference in the 2 or 3 different ones. When we first start talking about the webs, if you've got the large web covered tree, they're probably going to be tent web bugs or web worms. They tend to eastern tent caterpillars. How do you get rid of them? Well, if it's not a bad tree, you can take a stick and make sure to feed the birds. There's different types of bird food out there, and have that. Or you can spray it with some of the organics or even pesticides to get rid of it. Or you can prune them out. Normally, though, the eastern tent, it's real big and it takes up a lot, but there's a lot of worms in there. And then once again, excuse me, the fall web worms are confused with the eastern tent, just like I did. Eastern tent traditionally are in your cherries, old wild cherry tree, and they'll be there and they'll lay their eggs there and they reside there a lot. But your big fall web worms are going to be coming out soon, so if they're not already. And then you got the one that most people not around here nearly have as much, but in your cedar trees, they're bagworms. And they'll be coming out and metamorphosing soon, and you'll see the little bags there. All these worms are native to North America. They've been around forever. Part of the ecosystem here. But once again, the balance sometimes gets a little out of balance. So we want to manage. And when we manage, we can do that. I have to say a little bit about, as I was looking at an in-service the other day on bats and the benefits of bats. And bats eat a bunch of insects. I mean, a bunch. And I wanted to look at it to see about how to build a bat house and where I needed to put it and those wonderful things. We got publications here. But this lady who was talking, boy, she knew a bunch about bats. And she started off the conversation is, well, bats need food and water. So you really need to plant flowers that attract insects. And I'm going, I want the bats to take care of the insects, not to draw them in. So it's just how you look at whether the bat is your number one component or whether it's going to try to help you or you're going to try to help it. Nature is a balance, and we got to remember that. When neighbor had a snake out there, and I'm like going, and they didn't kill it. And I was so thankful because that snake may be helping me get rid of some mice. Or it's that balance. And it never fails when somebody says, oh, I got a snake in my outbuilding. I'm like going, got more than the snake in there, probably. Something had to draw that animal in. So think about the balance of nature before you go out here and try to remove some from the balance. Because traditionally, when we take something off the scale, something else moves in. And was it better to have what we removed or what moves in because it's no longer there? So enough on environmental science, but you got to remember those things. Food for thought, just like planting your fall garden. Food for thought so that you can put it all together and move forward. And if you want to investigate more pros and cons, we have the research-based information that can give you that information. It's not just Johnny's opinion, whomever it may be. Johnny looks it up and he knows the pros and cons, and give him a call. And our phone number is 336-599-1195. So give us a call so we can help you out. And we were going to let the sponsors help themselves out and let them have opportunity to talk. And we will be back. And this has been Bo Freeman with the Cooperative Extension Service of North Carolina State here in Person County. I'll be back.
It's July, and before you know it, August will roll around and we'll start heading toward the fall season. We can already be thinking about cooler days of fall, and it'll be here before you know it when we really enjoy getting outdoors again and doing our fall lawn work in our fall flower gardens. It's also time to kill those weeds in the lawn to be ready for fall seeding. T.G. Brooks Company has the chemicals to do it, like Fertilome and high-yield lawn and garden products, brands that you can trust. T.G. Brooks Company is fully stocked for fall, and meanwhile, if you still need irrigation, they have plenty of irrigation needs, such as hose and sprinklers and piping. For your work in the yard, they have yard tools like rakes, hoes, diggers, choppers, pitchforks, pruning saws, loppers, wheelbarrows, and lawn carts, and lawn sweepers. And for your flower bed, they have your hardwood mulches and dyed mulches and that really good triple ground mulch, and Daddy Pete's manure and soil by the bags. They have mulch in bags or by the trailer or pickup load, and they can arrange delivery if you need it. So this year, beautify with fresh pine needles, and for planting, get you some topsoil, planting soil, and they have cow manure. They also have the Pride dog food, including the Pride Pro Series, and yes, they still have dog kennels too. No matter if you are a homeowner or business owner, they can fill your needs. If you are the professional landscaper, they can handle commercial accounts. It's no wonder people from every corner of Person County travel to T.G. Brooks Company. They love the friendly family business where every customer is important no matter how large or small, and they're treated with courtesy. They serve homeowners, farmers, and those in construction. They have since 1936. We're also thankful, and definitely it all comes together when you pay a visit to T.G. Brooks Company in Timberlake.
Hello, this is Bo Freeman back with Cooperative Extension of North Carolina here in Person County. Glad you can make it back. And the last part of this program is going to be basically trying to give you a few dates and programs that we have coming up. One of which is farmers. Don't forget the Farm Service Agency. You need to put in your crop history. That's due by July 15th. So please get that in as soon as you can. 4-H for summer fun is sort of winding down. We've had a wonderful summer with different variety of different things going on. One of the few things that we have left, though, if you want to sign up for it, is the 14th of July. We're going to be, the fire marshal's going to be working with us. So remember to go on 4-H online and try to sign up for this particular program. And it's fun, and it's one. I think it'll be wonderful with our new fire marshal and his way of looking at things. Just remember, 4-H is youth development, and we do lots of STEM type programming. And during the summer, we do focus on one side, but then when we start in the fall, we'll be having the kits that we will work with the school districts, as well as we're opening back up our wonderful club-based programs. And one of the clubs that is opening up is our shooting sports club. They last week had a meeting, and they will be making some announcements on when they will be accepting enrollments for 4-Hers to join in. Now, once again, shooting sports is not just going out there and taking a little gun and go boom, boom, boom. We are very heavily regulated. We look at things from a safety perspective and educational perspective to make sure that you follow the correct protocols that go along with the curriculum that we have. And our curriculum sometimes doesn't match up with NRA all the way, out of the fine print, but we also really want our youth to follow instructions. And we do it at a shooting range. And we do proper procedures is our number one goal. It goes back to 4-H's learning how to do. Some people will say learning is the best way to do. Others will talk about that 4-H teaches life skills. And sometimes we use this wonderful project to teach. And that being said, we've got 7 families that will be utilizing the 4-H drone program this year. And they will start up hopefully tomorrow or this week in that program. And so that's a statewide program that we've got wonderful state support with. So they'll learn STEM in a different way than that engineering and mechanics and science, all the above. So wonderful program. Also, for everybody out there, Piedmont Electric has their calendar. And if you've got a wonderful picture, this is an opportunity for you to upload it and let Piedmont Electric look at it, and they put it in their calendar. So beautiful pictures. In years past, I looked at their website, and the beekeepers won out about 2 years ago real well, and I'm glad that they did. However, we need to make sure Person County gets their fair share of pictures in the calendar. So please, it's free, and put together and bring it up. Also, while we're talking about regional stuff, on July 21st, there will be a tobacco tour. And this will be one of the state's experiment stations that over in Oxford, and it's July 21st. Going to start out in the morning, about 9 o'clock, conclude about 12. And if you plan on going, you need to let us know. So please give us a call so that we can register you, or Granville, and register over there so that they have a meal ticket for you. So please, if you're interested in the tobacco, feel free to go. I have understood that they are starting to pull tobacco. Hopefully it's not down too bad after yesterday's storm, but it's one of those that the process is beginning. And hopefully we can have a good harvest for the tobacco crop, and our farmers can do well with that. And while we're speaking about farmers doing well, we are back on track. We will be doing the Farm City Breakfast this year on November the 4th. And it's a wonderful opportunity to learn, if you're not from a farm, to learn a little bit more about it. We will have a guest speaker of Linda Loveland, who works with Farm Bureau now. Yes, she has done TV appearances time and time again. However, she's going to be our guest speaker for our program for Farm City, and we're looking forward to do it. And we're going to have it out on a farm. Jack Pleasant has opened up his Sunset Buffalo Ranch for us to go out there, and we will be having a breakfast. And so we will be opening it up to the public and letting you understand more about ag and some of what we talk about broadband. It's not just a problem in the cities, it's a problem in rural areas, and it's a problem for the ag industries. So hence, come on out. We will talk a little bit more about it. And now that I'm talking a little bit about broadband, here's one that you need to be aware of if you live in Roxborough. And you can get broadband however you can afford it. If you're on government subsidies of any kind, just about, you can utilize the broadband help and talk to your provider. And most of them, not all, but most of them here locally can help you with your cable bill or your internet bill, excuse me, not cable, internet, your internet bill. And this being said, we're talking $50, and also help you in some instances, not all the providers, but some can also help you with the purchase of equipment. So if you're in an area that does have broadband and yet you can't get it because of the expense, this is an opportunity for you to utilize government programs to help you be connected more and more and more. Because we've learned one thing from the pandemic is that we now have a higher goal of what adequate internet is. And that one being said, if you've got fiber, like the county has put in, it's great. However, if you can't afford it, it doesn't make any difference. So check in, call your provider or a provider and see if they will do it, and it should help out. Also, COVID, like I said just a little while ago, COVID's been one of those that we've had opportunities to learn a lot. And some of it's good, some of it's bad, but we're changing. So hence, just remember to give people a little more space because we're in the transition zone. Some people are jumping back. Some people are just jumping. Some people are, hold on, wait a minute. I don't know about this. So let people have their space. It's a wonderful time, I feel, for us to acknowledge people and see what they want to do. And if they're wearing a mask, that's fine. If they're not, that's okay. We also need to be, like I say, accepting of their beliefs and not be judgmental. Some people want to take the vaccine, that's great. I am so thankful. Some people may have either religious beliefs or other beliefs that they don't need to. They are at risk. And yes, they are. So let's be accepting of everybody so that we can move forward. And speaking of vaccinations, just for those people that are, when we talk about tobacco harvest coming, we've got an influx of migrant workers, and people go, "Oh no, are they vaccinated? Are they not vaccinated? What are we going to do?" People just get in a hurry and real quick and jump to conclusions. Majority of the migrants that are coming in are being vaccinated. They're receiving the Johnson and Johnson vaccination at their distribution points for most of the migrants. There are some that aren't, but it's ironic because there's a much higher percentage of migrants that are taking the vaccine than are of the general public. So they sort of trust it. So they're moving forward and doing those components. So this has been Bo Freeman with the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service here in Person County. We're located on Morgan Street in the government building. We're basically sandwiched in between the school board and county administration. We're across the road from Huck Sansbury Park. So come in and see us. We've got lots of publications that we can help you with in trying to get you the correct answer. That's what extension is all about. We've been part of the land grant model for a number of years, and we are still moving forward. And I do hope, speaking of moving forward, that you'll have a great weekend. And we sure appreciate Rob and his folks for letting us on the air so we can share our experiences. This has been Bo Freeman with North Carolina State Cooperative Extension here in Person County. Thank you.